You're thinking about living full-time on cruise ships. The idea sounds amazing. Endless travel, no house to maintain, seeing the world. But here's the truth. Cruise ships are built for week-long vacations, not permanent living. What works great for 7 days becomes a serious problem over months. The costs add up. The small spaces get tiresome. The social life disappears. I've done this for 2 years. Learn these realities now before you sell your house and discover this lifestyle isn't what you imagined. Reality number 1. The costs are much higher than you think. Living on a cruise costs $2,500 to $10,000 every month. That's just the basic cruise fare. It doesn't include Wi-Fi, laundry, drinks, specialty restaurants, or shore excursions. Think about your apartment or house. For $1,500 to $2,500 a month, you get 600 to 900 square feet, utilities included, reliable internet, and a washer and dryer. On a cruise, you get a 150 square foot cabin, smaller than most bedrooms, and you pay more for it. The cruise fare never goes down. At home, when money gets tight, you can cut back, eat out less, skip the cable bill, reduce spending. On a cruise ship, the price is the price. You're locked in. Here's where it gets expensive. Automatic tips add $450 to $600 per month. Internet for work or staying in touch costs $800 to $1,200 monthly. Laundry service runs $100 to $150. A drink package, so you're not limited to water, costs another $500 to $700. These aren't extras. They're necessities for daily life. A $3,500 cruise fare quickly becomes $5,500 to $6,500 after you add these basic services. That's $66,000 to $78,000 per year for a tiny cabin with no ownership, no tenant rights, and no control over your home. Cruise pricing is designed for vacationers, not permanent residents. You're paying vacation prices every single day, forever. Hidden costs pile up too. Travel insurance, currency exchange fees, and port activities that vacationers budget once for now become weekly expenses for you. The worst part is the lack of value. At home, your rent or mortgage builds equity or gives you a stable home base. On a cruise, you're paying premium prices for temporary housing with no long-term benefit. Every dollar spent is gone forever with nothing to show for it except the experience. And after months, even that loses its appeal. Reality number 2. Moving every week becomes exhausting. Every 7 to 14 days, you pack everything you own. By 10 p.m., it all goes into suitcases. At 6 or 7 a.m., you drag those bags off the ship. Then you wait in line for customs, sometimes 30 minutes, sometimes 3 hours. After that, you sit in a cruise terminal with all your belongings, waiting for the next ship to start boarding. Then you do it all over again. Security, check-in, waiting for your room, unpacking, and setting up your cabin. This isn't travel, it's moving house every week or two. For vacationers, getting on the ship is exciting. For permanent residents, it's a tiring chore that takes 8 to 12 hours of your time and energy. Every time you change ships, everything changes. New cabin layout, different neighbors with different noise levels, new distance from elevators and dining rooms. You have to adjust all over again. You can't settle in because in 5 days you'll be packing again. There's no stability, no routine that lasts more than a week, and no sense of home. That constant moving drains your energy and makes it hard to focus on anything else. The physical toll adds up too. Lifting heavy suitcases every week strains your back and shoulders. Standing in long lines aggravates knees and hip problems. The stress affects your sleep. What seems manageable for 1 week becomes genuinely difficult when it's your life every single week. Cruise lines designed this process to move thousands of people quickly. They didn't design it for people doing it every week for years. Reality number 3. The internet barely works. Cruise ship internet runs on satellite connections. It's slow. Think 2000s dial-up speed. Video calls freeze and drop. Files won't upload. Even loading a simple website can take several minutes. The premium internet packages cost $20 to $40 per day. That's $600 to $1,200 per month for a connection that barely handles email. If you work remotely or need to stay connected, this creates real problems. Deadlines don't change because the ship's internet is down. Clients won't accept excuses. Work that takes 30 minutes at home stretches into 3-hour struggles at sea. This isn't a fixable problem. Ships use satellite internet because that's the only option at sea. It's built for passengers posting vacation photos, not for serious work or video chatting with grandchildren. You can find better internet in port, at cafes or libraries or co-working spaces, but only during the 6 to 8 hours the ship is docked. When you're days at sea, you're stuck with the slow, expensive, unreliable internet. The satellite connection also has a delay. Conversations feel awkward. You say something, wait 2 seconds, then hear the response. It's like talking on a bad international phone line from the 1980s. If you're retired and want to video chat with your grandchildren, expect frustration. The connection drops, the picture freezes, conversations feel stilted and unnatural. What should be a simple pleasure becomes a technical headache, and you're paying $40 per day for the privilege. Reality number 4. Everything repeats on a 7-day loop. Cruise entertainment runs on a weekly schedule. Shows repeat. Menus rotate every 7 days. Activities follow the same pattern. This works perfectly for week-long vacationers. They see everything once and go home. For permanent residents, it becomes like living in the movie Groundhog Day. You'll hear the same comedian tell the same jokes 8 times. You'll see the same magic show every week. Every Thursday is Mexican night at the buffet with identical food. The trivia questions repeat. The pool games stay the same. Even the cruise director's morning announcements follow the same script. After the first month, you've seen the complete cycle. Every week after that is just repetition. The social life repeats too. Passengers come aboard for 7 days and you have the same conversations over and over. Where are you from? How long are you sailing? Which ports are you excited about? Then they leave and you have identical conversations with new people the next week. You're living in a permanent vacation environment where everyone else is experiencing things for the first time. You're on your 30th week of the same routine while they're thrilled about the chocolate fountain. The boredom becomes oppressive. Even the ports start blending together. Caribbean islands look the same. Mediterranean cities lose their uniqueness. When every location is just a brief stop before returning to the same ship, the same cabin, the same dining room, nothing feels special anymore. You lose the joy of travel when it becomes routine. Real travel means immersing yourself in a place, learning its culture, meeting locals, discovering hidden gems. Cruise port stops don't allow that depth. You get surface-level tourism on repeat, and after enough repetitions, even beautiful places become just another checkbox on the itinerary. Reality number 5. Your living space is tiny. Standard inside cabins are 150 to 180 square feet, including the bathroom. That's smaller than a standard parking space. It's not just the size, it's how the space works. No dedicated desk for paperwork. Minimal storage where everything has to do double duty. A bathroom where your knees hit the shower when you sit on the toilet. No separation between where you sleep, work, eat, and store your belongings. For a week-long vacation, it feels cozy. For permanent living, it becomes suffocating. The privacy doesn't exist. The walls are thin, built for light ship construction, not soundproofing. You hear your neighbors' conversations, their TV, their alarm clocks, everything. The noise is constant and there's no way to block it out. You can't control the temperature. Your cabin follows the ship's central air conditioning system. If you like it warmer or cooler, too bad. This affects your sleep, your comfort, and your daily quality of life. There's no private outdoor space unless you pay premium rates for a balcony. No yard, no patio. Every moment outside your cabin is in public areas shared with thousands of other passengers. Living long-term in such a small space takes a psychological toll. Humans need a certain amount of space for mental health. Cruise cabins fall below that minimum. It's fine for a vacation, but becomes a problem when it's permanent. Simple activities become difficult. Want to do exercises or stretches? There's barely room. Want to spread out paperwork or hobbies? No space. Want a quiet place to read without distractions? The cabin is too small to create separate zones. Everything happens in the same tiny area, which creates mental fatigue over time. If this breakdown is already helping you see the reality behind the Instagram version, tap like and subscribe so you don't miss our videos. Now let's continue, because next, it's not about comfort anymore. It's about paperwork. Reality number 6. Getting mail becomes a nightmare. Everything in modern life assumes you have a permanent address. Banks, government agencies, insurance companies, doctors' offices, they all expect you to receive mail at a fixed location. Cruise ships don't accept personal mail or packages except in special circumstances that require a lot of advanced paperwork. This creates a huge problem. The usual solution is renting a mailbox service in your home state. This gives you a legal address, but you're never there to pick up mail, so you have to arrange forwarding. Forwarding to ports means timing deliveries to match the 6 to 8 hours your ship is docked. If the package arrives late, it gets returned or sits there indefinitely. Important documents with deadlines, contracts to sign, prescriptions to renew, government notices to respond to, can't be handled reliably. Driver's license renewals come by mail. New bank cards when yours expires get mailed. Insurance statements, tax documents, legal notices. Everything assumes you can receive physical mail within a reasonable time. Every transaction that needs address verification becomes complicated. Voting becomes difficult. Jury duty summons arrive with no way to serve. Professional licenses, property ownership, financial accounts, anything requiring your physical presence for verification creates ongoing problems. And this isn't something better organization can fix. It's a basic incompatibility between nomadic living and systems designed for people with fixed addresses. The constant administrative burden is exhausting. Reality number 7. Medical care is limited and expensive. Ship medical centers are small. They have one doctor and maybe 2 nurses. They can handle seasickness, minor cuts, and basic illnesses. They're not equipped for serious medical problems. The equipment is basic, simple diagnostics, limited medications, and maybe an X-ray machine. For serious emergencies, the ship's procedure is to stabilize you and evacuate you to a hospital on land. Nothing is covered by regular health insurance. You pay out of pocket for everything, at prices much higher than on land. A basic doctor visit costs $500 or more. IV fluids cost $1,000 or more. Medical evacuation to a shore hospital can cost $50,000 to $100,000, depending on where you are. If you have ongoing health conditions that need regular monitoring or medication management, this creates serious complications. Refilling prescriptions across international borders is difficult. Different countries have different medicines available. Storing temperature-sensitive medications is challenging. Seeing specialists during brief port stops is nearly impossible. Most prescriptions in the U.S. are written for 30 to 90 days. If you're at sea or in foreign countries for months, getting refills becomes complicated. Foreign pharmacies might not have your medication. They might not accept your prescription. Insurance often won't cover medications purchased internationally. A medical emergency that would be routine on land, say an appendicitis, a bad infection, or a heart problem, becomes complex and expensive at sea. You might need immediate evacuation. The whole living arrangement could be interrupted. You're gambling that nothing serious happens while you're in the middle of the ocean. For older adults especially, this is a serious concern. Age brings health issues that need proper medical attention. The ship's limited facilities and high costs create genuine risk. One serious health event could end your cruise living permanently and leave you with overwhelming medical bills. Reality number 8. You can't build real friendships. Cruise ships are designed for temporary social interaction. Passengers stay for 7 to 14 days, then leave. This constant turnover makes building lasting friendships nearly impossible. Every conversation with fellow passengers has an expiration date. You might connect with someone at dinner, but they're gone the next morning. Friendships can't develop beyond small talk because the other person is leaving in days. Now, crew members are consistent, but they're working and you're a guest. That professional boundary prevents real friendship, no matter how friendly they are. For long-term residents, this creates isolation despite being surrounded by people constantly. You can't join communities because you're never in one place long enough. You can't participate in book clubs or volunteer groups or regular activities that need sustained involvement. Relationships with family and friends back home suffer from absence. You miss weddings, funerals, grandchildren's birthdays, holidays. Video calls over unreliable ship internet don't replace being there in person. Research shows humans need ongoing social connections for mental health. Brief, repetitive small talk doesn't fulfill that need, even when it's pleasant. Loneliness isn't just about being alone. It's about lacking meaningful connection. The temporary nature of shipboard relationships mean you can't build the trust and history that real friendships need. Every social interaction stays shallow because there's no future to invest in. You're constantly meeting new people, but never forming lasting bonds. For many people over 50, friendships and family connections are among life's most important elements. Cruise living systematically prevents both. You trade stable relationships for endless shallow conversations with strangers. The isolation becomes one of the hardest parts to endure. Reality number 9. You have no control over your schedule. The ship decides where you go, when you arrive, how long you stay, and when you leave, and you have no say in any of it. Port schedules are fixed. Want to spend more time in a city you love? Too bad. The ship docks for 6 to 10 hours and leaves on schedule. Visiting the same Caribbean island for the 5th time and not interested? Too bad. That's where the ship goes today. Routes change frequently. Bad weather, mechanical problems, political issues, or just the cruise line's business decisions. Ports you plan to visit get replaced with different ones. You have no input. Missing the ship during a port stop creates serious problems. The ship will not wait. If you're not back on time, you're responsible for getting yourself to the next port, potentially costing thousands in emergency flights and hotels. This forces you to be extremely careful with time during every port visit. You can't fully explore. You can't stay longer if you're enjoying something. You can't make spontaneous choices. Every moment on shore is calculated against the departure deadline. Days at sea remove all choices. On multiple day ocean crossings, you're stuck on the ship. You can't leave, can't access services on land, and can't change your environment. For people used to freedom of movement, this feels confining. The ship's schedule also controls your daily routine. Dining rooms have set hours. Your cabin isn't available during turnover days. Entertainment happens at fixed times. Your whole day runs on someone else's timeline. After months of having no control over where you are or what your schedule looks like, it affects your sense of independence. Reality number 10. Small charges add up to big money. Cruise lines make money through add-on charges. Everything beyond your basic cabin and dining room costs extra. Laundry service costs $3 to $4 per item, about $100 to $150 per month total. Specialty coffees cost $5 to $7 per cup. Eating at specialty restaurants instead of the main dining room costs $25 to $50 extra per person. Alcoholic drinks cost $10 to $15 each. Printing a document costs $1 per page. And automatic tips are added to your account every day. $15 to $20 per person, or $450 to $600 per month in mandatory gratuities. For week-long vacationers, these are part of vacation spending. For permanent residents, they're monthly bills that add up fast. A $3,500 base fare typically grows to $5,500 to $6,500 after you add internet, laundry, drinks, occasional specialty dining, gratuities, and basic services you need for daily living. The advertised cruise price never reflects real living costs. Cruise lines make more profit from onboard spending than from cabin fares. That's their business model. You can't avoid these charges without major sacrifices. Remote work needs internet. Clean clothes need laundry service. Beverage variety costs money. Eating different foods requires specialty dining access. The constant small charges are deliberate. Every interaction with ship services creates an opportunity to charge you more. The system makes spending feel casual until you see your final bill. As a permanent resident, you face this optimization constantly, without the benefit of being limited to one vacation week. What makes it worse is the psychological pressure. You're surrounded by vacationers spending freely because they're on holiday. It's easy to fall into the same pattern, forgetting that for you, this isn't a one-time splurge. It's your everyday life. The environment is designed to encourage spending, and resisting that pressure month after month requires constant discipline. These problems aren't fixable through better planning or a positive attitude. They're built into how cruise ships work. Ships are designed for week-long vacations, not permanent living. The difference between success and disaster is understanding what you're really committing to, not the social media version, but the real operational challenges. If you're seriously considering this lifestyle, test it first. Book 1 month, experience the complete cycle, and honestly evaluate whether the trade-offs match your priorities and capabilities. Now, if this helped you understand the reality of cruise ship living, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss future videos. Drop a comment sharing your thoughts or questions about this lifestyle, and click the video on screen next. I think you'll find it valuable. Your voyage is just beginning.